Okay, so first of all, I wanted to start off with Frank's scanner because Runstrat, rest in peace, has discontinued. I think they just couldn't handle the server traffic or something. I think we got a hot mic code. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to point this out. I had did a video on it before, but kind of wanted to bring it to the community so y'all would know this. I'm going to do another one next week, but this one I want to focus on what you can use as a scanner. And I know it does seem a little daunting at first, but it's really comprehensive and something that I think that if you learn to use it, you'll just use it on a regular basis. And then Frank, who created this on Twitter, I'll put it in the like video link or something. He posts like a end of day update or something like that. So it kind of condenses all of this, if you will. So anyway, as you can see, it gives you the sectors, kind of what they're doing, and then a watch list. Now I'm on this daily news bullish tab, so you can see like what you can look for, like an inside day, what had a hammer, Momo hammer, Rev Strat, and then slide this over and you can see like the strat combos and what tickers did what combo. So, it's not as easy as Run Strat was, I'll say, but it's actually way more comprehensive. So, that's the daily news, and then it's the same thing with the bearish. It's just obviously bearish, and you get the strat combos over here. Weekly, do the same thing, bullish and bearish, and then monthly, you can look at the indexes, the ETFs. Oops, scrolling too fast. ETFs, the the sectors, and then again the months, the quarter, and of course, this is really good to get like the continuations where the month can trigger the quarter or the outside quarter because it's green or whatever, and then the strat combos that you have for the month. So and then the same thing with quarterly. I don't have to click on those, and by the year. So you can look at these and do a lot of research on swings or daily things, and just you can even just check these daily if you want. So then these twos and fours is really, I think this is also really cool because it gives you the actionable signals by the day, bullish or bearish, by the week, by the month, quarter, year, so on and so forth. And then it gives you a list here with the sectors and kind of what they're doing, whether they're
Hey,
green or
I wasn't
red.
sure about the I think someone's mic is not mute. Like it sounds like it's shuffling.
Uh,
Mhm.
it still sounds like it. I did mute everybody.
All
I
right,
thought.
it sounds better now.
Okay.
Sound like a lot of like static and like shuffling papers. All
Okay.
right.
All right. Hopefully that's better. Okay. And so yeah. So this I'll post this in the Discord as well. So you got the twos and fours, the twos by sector, hammer, shooter, inside bar, what has full time frame continuity on the day, the week, the month, the quarter, whether it's green or red, the indexes. So this is really comprehensive, y'all. And then, I have to mention this. The 50% rules that are in force, complete, if if they've failed and look like they're about to trigger, if they're already in force, or if they finished already. So on the week, the month, the quarter, the year. So I just wanted to show you guys this because it's this can replace Runstrat. You just have to do a little bit more work, but this is updated every day at the end of the day. So it's not going to update, during the day. It would have to be like your end of day or first thing in the morning type of checklist. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show y'all. Okay, so give me 1 second, y'all. I wanted to start with the month setups that I had. Just as what I was looking at for the month. Y'all know Starbucks beat earnings, so they may be trying to break out here. It already reached this monthly target, but if it still has magnitude and wants to continue, then this would be the next monthly target. So I do like that this right here took out these lows. So that could be a sign that, it wants to keep going. Starbucks is a cheapie that I like. So just bringing that up. Airbnb, um, they, I don't remember if they beat or not, but they did have earnings and they fell. So this is still in force on the month, and that is the magnitude. So it could get to, is this 86.55? And then Johnson and Johnson, it's not really doing much. We were looking at that, but EMPH is about to trigger the 50% rule on the month. So I wanted to mention that. It's really all I had for the monthly setup. So we can just go straight to the homework, or the regular stuff, let me say. So just keep in mind that SPY will trigger the outside month at 368 if we're bearish. That's where we are. On the week, we did an outside week. So a 3-2 continuation would push us to the outside through the outside month. And then it would flip us completely red right here at 360. Y'all know that 360 is a really, really strong support, although 370 has been a strong support as of late. But time frame continuity won't fully uncouple until Tuesday anyway. So what I did want to point out was a couple things. So we were talking about this and about this inverse head and shoulders, and then what happened here. Then how we had this inverse head and shoulders. It did go into effect, but it got knocked back down. I updated my broadening formation to where I still feel like it kind of broke above the short-term downtrend it had, but this long-term downtrend is still kind of in effect. It's still rejected there. And it really invalidated this inverse head and shoulders. I said 360, but because it went into effect, once it broke this 375 area, it's back in that downtrend. And then also on the 4-hour, you will notice that we actually have, come on, what are we doing? Come on. Oh, it's being sluggish, y'all. Excuse me. Come on. Come on. There we go. You'll notice the head and shoulders that we have here. Barely a shoulder over here. I mean, barely, and then it went down. So inverse head and shoulders, and then head and shoulders. So we'll have to just kind of see where it goes. My next resistance for it would be 385 if it can push up. It's kind of in an interesting spot right now. Where it closed, it's like right in between these two EMAs. So depending on where we go on next week, if it keeps going down, this 8 is probably going to cross back under this 20, which will be bearish. You can also see this SAR that we've started looking at has switched to the top, which is a bearish sign as well. So yeah, I'm looking for probably a 3-2 continuation. We do have a new 2-week starting. Can't really see that. That's really a doji. But we do have a new 2-week starting on tomorrow. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, you kind of see the channel that it's in. Next, broadening formation. So yeah, we got a solid support here. It's 370. And 360 will be our next support. And then we may come down and test this area out. If y'all notice, this area, this range right here is kind of spotty. So it actually may need to rest around here for a little while, which could create another little bit of a shoulder here before it comes back down. So CPI is on Thursday, so that may actually happen. We might trade sideways up until then and then fall. So I'm definitely expecting us to fall for CPI though, but we could be surprised. So we're always ready either way. So QQQ didn't have an outside week, but we did 2 up, 2 down. And actually, I like this on the day. I wanted to point out that unlike SPY, who hadn't tested that area where we really dropped that one time, when we dropped and ran really crazy in a day, but QQQ is coming down here. We had an outside day here, but we are in this range where we dropped really hard. So it could do the same thing, iron this area out right here first before it comes down here, but I would expect that it would do that. Keeping in mind though, we did also drop really fast, so it could do something like that, and then fall. But this inverse head and shoulders was like completely smacked down, turned more into like an M. So let's see on the 4-hour. No, we don't have an inverse head and shoulders, but we have a higher high here, but then a lower high. So I would expect another lower high, maybe up to 276 if we have a bullish run before dropping down. So IWM, small caps. Wait a minute. This actually had a better week, but it did come back in. Not quite a shooter, but kind of have to see what this wants to do. It hit the top of this broadening formation, so it's just about if it can push through and broaden, or if it's going to come back down to test the bottom of it. Looking on the day is kind of similar to SPY and QQQ, where it's right around these EMAs. So sending it down will have this 8 cross under. We do have a sell signal on the mobile bands here. So, yeah, I'll update this. That's not the this one, yes. Okay. That's interesting. This actually may hold. You'll have to see about that because this is still under here. So it could 2 up and do that, or it can come down this way. This is in an interesting place. Remember, IWM it tracks the small caps, but it has expirations like SPY and QQQ. So it doesn't move as much, but it's still something that you can play, and it has decent enough moves that you can capitalize on it. So XLE has been going, not quite taking out this 52-week high, almost, but I mean, yeah, it's at all-time highs now. I'm not quite sure if it's ready to take a break. Look how the week ended. Like, it came back in, but it's a green, not even a shooter, really. So, with energy, it seems like short-term shorts work, but it's not ready to come down just yet. If you see on the day, it's still respecting this 8. I would not try to short energy until it actually reversed under this 8 because it's finding support there. So unless this did like a 2 up, 2 down, and then another 2 down, to stay under there, or maybe 2 up, 2 down, came back up to reject the 8, and then kept going down, then I would feel more comfortable about it. Consequently, this could be the start of a head. Got a shoulder right here, so this could be a head. It does this, boom, shoulder, and then it might be ready to come down. So, but then again, it also could keep going. And at that point, because, when you deal with stuff at 52-week highs, just it's psychological numbers at that point. 95, 100 would be your next 2 price targets on that. So, I'm looking at VIX. I mean, wow. Wow. VIX has been going down a lot. Now, this is interesting. Wait a minute. So, why was SPY red, but the VIX was also red? Now, that's interesting. Y'all know these work opposite of each other. So, usually when the VIX is red, SPY is green, and vice versa. So, I would expect to look at this and the VIX would have been green, but it's not. So, that's kind of a conflict in the sense of, which one do you believe? I usually tend to go with the VIX. But this ended really strong, like as if it's going to keep falling. Let me look at this again. Yeah, I mean, the bears are in control on the VIX, and we have 2 up, 2, 1, 2 down on the month. So looking at this, I would actually expect SPY to be bullish. If this stayed in force, and this kept going, I would expect SPY to be bullish. Consequently, y'all know the 50% rule is taking out last candle's low and then retracing. So if SPY is red and it retraces, then the VIX should come back up. Because see, yeah, that's interesting that they're both red on the time frames that we're looking at. So yeah, oops. That is VIX. It's actually kind of in a range. Still making higher lows. So, yeah. All right, Apple. Apple's funny because we are back under the outside year trigger. We popped above it for a minute, but then came right back. Let me look on the quarter. On the month is still inside, so not really doing anything there. And we didn't finish the outside bar here, but should we continue to be red, this new 2-week candle will probably 2 down. So that would be an actionable signal because it's a 2 up, 2 down on this 2-week bar. So, and it's sitting right at where time frame continuity would flip red. So, also like the Qs, this actually came to and did test this area, which is probably why it bounced on Friday, because it tested this area that it fell from before so hard and came back in. So, that's probably why it did that. Now I'm thinking actually, let me update this. That's a hammer. It's a red hammer and ended kind of here, but that's still a hammer. It's going to need to iron out this price area and this price area because as you can see, it hasn't really ironed it out. So, and then we have a gap on the day. So, of course, we need to break this 142 level. Now, granted, 140 was a support. Sorry for the noise, y'all. 140 was a support before. It could become resistance, but if it was to break out and break up, you can target that gap fill. But otherwise, it may be nice if it does an inside day and then comes down. Y'all know Apple on a Monday, though. So Apple may just decide to fill this gap on Monday and then could possibly do an H. Because even though it's a gap, that's still an H. Kind of like what Snow did. And we'll get to Snow in a second. That's Apple. Microsoft. Around my computer. So Microsoft, it's crazy. It actually definitely blew through here and made a new low, a new 52-week low. I didn't even see Microsoft on Friday or Thursday. That's interesting. I did not know it made a new 52-week low. But it moved through this entire area really fast. And it ended with a hammer on the day. So I honestly would expect that Microsoft would possibly pop 3-2 on the day to come and iron this out. See if I can. Yeah, 3-2. And either reject this 8 or come up to this downtrend broadening formation and maybe try to target this. But it does need to iron out this area that it fell from before. That's crazy that it made a new 52-week low. So yeah, but if Microsoft pushes and then Apple on a Monday, then y'all can expect that the Qs and SPY will be green on Monday, especially since they made this new 52-week low. We taken out. There's nobody left to short at this point, so they got to make new bears. And just my computer is really lagging today, y'all. Just want to update Walmart. We were talking about how Walmart broke above the 200 on the day. So that was a nice catch. It looks like it came back and found some support at the 8. So just have to see if it, kind of how, who takes control from here. Mixed time frame continuity, but it could be ready for a rest or it may want to keep going. Yeah, it still has room on the month. So yeah, if it decides to push up on the month, next target would be 155 on the month. Did it fill the gap? Not quite. And it still has a gap on the day here at 146. So we've been talking about it since about right here. So it popped up, made a little correction. It may want to continue going. McDonald's made 52-week highs. Like, it's been respecting this 8. So this is another one that popped up above the 200 and stayed bullish. So I just really want to point those out to y'all so you know like what to look for when things are bullish. When it pops above, it holds, and then it goes. And respecting the EMAs. That was a nice swing right there. So Snow. So Snow we talked about last week. And I was saying that because of this gap that it would may do kind of a H. It did. And then it really seriously fell. So congratulations to anyone who took that. I did want to point out that it should be pretty exhausted. It's taken out these 2 targets here. If it does continue to go, 110 will be the next target. On the 2-week, it's a 3. So to see the bearish continuation and the next target on the month, you would need to see a 3-2 continuation on the 2-week. But I would anticipate that it would need a little bit of correction because, this is a pretty somewhat solid support. So it may want to come up a little bit and then keep falling. That's kind of what it's been doing. Fall hard, come back up, fall hard. It likes to come back up and test the 8. So as you can see, if you get to the 8 and it starts reversing, that would be a good trade for you. And Snow's a really good mover. So I don't know why I had QCOM on here. NVIDIA, I just wanted to point out, has earnings on it's sometime this week, y'all. I'll post the earnings in the chat as well. I want to say it's the 16th, so that may be next week, actually. But there's a gap to fill here to the upside if it decides it wants to go. And you see we have a bullish cross here, and it's been respecting it. So something to put on your radar. And of course SOXL, because this is the cheaper way to play the chips. So if NVIDIA or an AMD and Qualcomm are all moving, then XOXL is a good way to play this. So Kiki mentioned Target. And let me double check. I believe both of these are bearish. Yes, they're both bearish. Oh, I can look at that and say, So she catches it. When I say she catches it, it's funny how this switch right here, right? Nice rejection and close under the 8 and the 20. So, and you got on the 4 hour, you got an 8 and 20 cross. So this may do like an H. I tell these kids every time, but they don't listen. Okay. So yeah, we might get an H here because we have this hammer on the 4 hour. So it made 3-2-2 up. Then it can 2 up and then 2 down. And then, so remember how we talk about what's bullish? You see how it's rejecting this 200? It cannot break above it. Is it doing that on the day too? No, it's not even getting to it on the day. But on the 4 hour, it's a clear rejection. Every time it hits the 200, it rejects and it falls. And it's like, I'm sorry, my kids are being loud in the background. This first time it rejected. The second time it rejected hard. So this may actually come and make another low. I like how Target moves too. So let me look at this on the week. Maybe the 2 week, because that's not an actionable signal. Oh, but it is. There you go. 2 week, 3-2, 2 down. So this may need a little time. But yeah, I like Target. I like Target for puts. And then BA. So, y'all know we've been watching BA and playing BA for a while, right? Now, they had an investors conference, what was it, last week or the week before? And so that's why they have been moving. But BA also has a habit of rejecting. And we're right here at this 200 on the month and the 8 on the month where you can see it's rejecting. So the only thing is because it ended like super bullish, the 2 week and the week. So, but as you can see, again with this 8 and 20, it's like a constant rejection. Like you would think, oh, we broke above, we're gonna stay, this is about to cross over. Nope, right back down. So the only thing is here on the week, we do have a higher low. Look at this on the day. And we're about to reject the 200 on the day. Yep. Let's see the last time it hit the 200. Boom, made a lower high and came all the way down. So could probably look for it to do the same thing. Boom. And it was far away from the 8 here. It comes back to it. Tested that here, came back to the 8. Didn't quite cross under, but then crossed under there.
So you can kind of see the pattern of what happens. We didn't hit the 200 now. So, and we're far away from the 8 here. So, I mean, we at least need to come back and test this just for some type of, I guess, correction with what it's been doing. All right, and then the 4 hour. Shoot, this thing is super bullish. We do have all green time frame continuity. So I have to see with this. It's kind of sort of been in this uptrend. And on the 4 hour, well, see the last time it did that, because it broke above here. Last time it broke above, it still came down. So, but would need to wait to see a clear reversal here before moving, before like taking puts on this. So, that's actually all I have for today. Key, did you want to add anything to what I said while I check the study chat?
Yeah, I did good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it's overextended, so I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback. I do think it's bullish, but in true VA fashion, it does pull back.
It
So I just
definitely
want to
does.
catch that move. Yeah.
At least back to this 8, maybe even a 20.
Right.
That should do that.
All right, so good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Um, it's evening time here in the UK, so wherever you are, hey. But what I wanted to speak about today is more about what I did wrong rather than what I did right on Friday. And it's more around your psychology and primarily around greed and fear. So I just said to, excuse me, I said to Lala that I think it's important that instead of always glamorizing gains and what we do right, but it's also important to post losses or what we could have done better. So this is ES from Friday. If I just so this is ES from Friday, and I'm just going to review the price action at certain points to tell you what I did wrong and what I could have done better. Now, just to give you a bit of background, I've been trying to compound gains, take my profits, not try to give back to the market, use a stop loss, whether it be trailing stop loss or a hard stop. Yeah, so if I put these drawings back on. Okay, so this was 1 o'clock my time, so this was market open, okay? So we opened here at market open. Now, usually I wait 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to get in a play to see where we're at. So the first mistake I made was jumping in straight away. I seen the bullish action and I jumped in here. As you can see, price initially went up and then we reject. So I took a small loss here. So that was mistake number one. I should have waited. Mistake, sorry, before I go into mistake number two, what I've done here is I've drawn SMT divergence. This was the previous high, and then later on we'll discuss it, but we come down and we take out this high, which normally signals a reversal. Okay. So going back to point number two, this is where I entered puts. Puts wrote it down, and at this point here, I think I was about 113 or 115% up, I believe, and that's where I should have took profits and I never. Okay, so I didn't take profits here when I should have. Then you can see price reverses, okay, and we shoot back up. So all this price action here, I'm like slapping myself, swearing, thinking why didn't I take my profit? My contract ran from, I can't even remember, I think it was like $1 or $2 up to $8. So I let the trade play out. I didn't cut the play. We've come up to the supply zone here. We've tapped the top of it, and we've got a shooterish candle, and on the way back down we go. So this is where I mentioned about this high taking out the previous high. Normally when this happens, you look for a rejection. Now this could also be a broadening formation, if you're thinking of it like that, a high, high, high. So still in the position, price starts to come back down as now. So this is when my puts are slowly getting back into profit, and then eventually, once we've taken out this low, I believe they go green. So at this point, I'm happy, small profit, I'm green. I can't believe the day I was down, so I was up initially. And in fact, I was down initially, wasn't I? So I was down here, and it was up big, then it was down big, and then finally I closed it for a small profit. We tap the demand zone, tap it, so you break, here's your retest. We've talked about previously the importance of not trying to get in the initial move unless you're scalping. So 2 down, 2 up, you could have scalped it, I suppose, but if you're trying to catch the big move, you break, you retest, and here's the big move. So this was 6:15 my time, so just into power hour. Bounced off the demand zone, 2 down, 2 up. I believe I entered here, and then I caught this move to end the day really nice. So all in all, it was a good day, but the emotions that day was up and they were down, and I just wanted to highlight that if I'd stuck to my rules initially, I wouldn't have been down and I would have been up, and then if I stuck to my rules again, this is where my trading day should have ended. I would have been up over 115%, and I could have closed my laptop on my business and enjoyed the weekend. So I just thought it was important just to mention what I did wrong, even though yes I did end the day green. I just wanted to show where my flaws were and what I could have done better. Yeah? Lala?
Yep.
I have a question for Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so I know you've been sharing with us the guy Phantom on Twitter with like the SMT and the liquidity. It makes sense, right? Like everything always makes sense, right? But it's always like the implementation, the execution of it. And so I'm still trying to figure out if that is a strategy that I want to incorporate, especially since now like I'm doing futures. Could you, and I know you reviewed it last week, but could you briefly review like the higher highs or the lower lows where like the liquidity form for me?
Yeah, sure.
And like a simple version though. I think it gets really complicated. Well, at least I make it complicated. Let me say that. I make everything complicated. So
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen again.
thank you.
Okay. Let's find one for you. Okay, so Shay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so you wanted me to go over the higher highs and higher lows and the breakup structure and the market structure shift. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, because I know he does ES and NQ to whoever gets liquidity first, I believe.
Right. Okay. So let me switch this chart. I'll make that 2 chart. Okay. All right. So that will be ES on this side, and this can be NQ. Right. Right, so these two charts now match up. So my cursor here should match up, yeah, to that low. So that low's the same as that low. So with this strategy, if we go to, so we run the 1 hour here. So the local low for the 1 hour chart and NQ and ES is here, okay? So that's the low there. Now, when price comes down here, it doesn't take out the low. So I know Britt was saying ES and NQ kind of move the same, but you're looking for which symbol is going to give you the best reversal, where is smart money acted upon, so to speak, and what are they doing? So price comes from here to here and it doesn't take it out, okay? Whereas if we go to this same point on, this is ES, if you come to the same point on NQ, that's the exact same point there, that's the same low. So if we draw from there to there, price clearly takes out, in fact, that's not even the low, is it? Price clearly takes out that low, okay? So if you was playing a reversal, you'd want to play it on the NQ because it's giving you more of a stronger signal, let's say, which is where smart money are placing all their orders. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. So it's just whichever one low is low or higher high is taken out first.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the local lows are the local highs. Now, if you look at this low, you can see after that low, there's quite a lot of sideways action before the initial move. Whereas if you look at this low, it seems more cleaner, doesn't it? And I think that's what we're focusing on, what's going to give you the best reversal, rather than being stuck in all this choppy action. Once price takes that out, we're off to the races. So that's how you play that strategy. Similarly, if you're playing up here and you was using this SMT divergence, okay, so look here. So if you're using on ES, price eventually takes it out and then we reverse back down, okay? So that's the same high that we just looked at on NQ. Can you see how price doesn't take it out? It tries to, but it doesn't get there. So in this occasion, you'll be playing ES because prices come back through and then there's your massive drop down. I mean, don't get me wrong, NQ still drops, but it's not as drastic as ES is it. Can you see that?
Okay, and so for yes, so for this ES, are you playing? It'll be bullish activity. I think that's also where I get confused. So ES is taking out a high, and so we're waiting for the order block to form for bearish activity.
Yeah. So if it takes out the highs, you want to reverse and be a bear, and if vice versa, if it takes out the lows, you're looking for bullish activity.
Okay, and the order block is where an VG is formed. Because that also still confuses me. The order blocks because they have to re-enter that.
Yeah. So let me see if, so can you see these blue squares on my chart there and there? So at local highs or local lows, you get actionable signals. So your actionable signal here is your shooter candle, which takes us lower. And your order block here is the actionable hammer, which takes us higher. That's two clear order blocks on the hour chart. If you can't find one on the hour chart, just keep dropping higher or lower until you can find one. But it's basically an actionable signal to signal that big money, smart money, are building a position. And I think I mentioned that they can't show their hand to us as retail traders what they're intending to do. So they've got to do it in stages. They've got to drip feed the market to kind of get in and out of their positions. Now, as retail traders, we can see that by these actionable signals, these shooters, these hammers, using our other indicators and techniques to enable us to get in those positions.
Okay.
Look here as well, Shay. So you've got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then you've got a higher low. So that's a shift in the structure, isn't it? So you know that because you've got a higher low now, price should start to retrace and go in the opposite direction as well.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you should have had a lower low down here, and because we haven't, you can take that's another signal that you're going higher.
Right. And so do you normally, so I see right now you're on the hour, or I think you mentioned 65. It looks like you're on an hour chart now. And then like found some videos, he does the 15 and then I think drops down on the 1. You also just mentioned whichever. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I don't normally use an hour. I normally use a 65. It's similar. It's basically the same, obviously, just 5 minutes after. It just gives me a clear entry to kind of let the first 5 minutes of the new candle form to see exactly where we are. And then what I will then do is I trade mostly on the 15, to be honest. So the 65 gives me my direction. I drop to the 15, and that's where I take all my positions. But I enter of the 1 minute over 2 minute.
Okay.
So that's how I enter. That's how you snipe your entry and your exit. But I'm looking at the price action on the 15.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. That was more help. I just think the more I hear it, outside of the videos, it makes more sense.
Yeah, no worries. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good. Y'all have
Lala,
yes.
just mentioned DWAC for Monday because of the Trump factor.
Oh, okay. That's right, because he announced that he's running for president again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which also Kiki said the market may be bullish too, which we were seeing that with Microsoft Apple. So, yeah, Monday may be a bullish day.
Yes, let's get some bullish activity.
So we can
The
short it
higher it
again.
goes, the harder it will.
Exactly. For
It'll be
sure.
interesting.
Yes. Well, all right, y'all. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll talk to y'all
Yeah,
later.
you too.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, bye.